sharing the opportunity to be wealthy and to be healthy. And that's a lot of difference. All right. Before I go into the details of effective selling, would just a note that in my sharing tonight doesn't in line with what your upline taught you. Please follow your upline teaching. Right. I'm here to just share my experience with everyone. Before I introduce myself, my background, and of course I'd like to welcome all the new people. Way back before I was doing Amway, just to give you an idea what kind of selling experience I had. In fact, long time ago, I was a sales executive actually selling marine coating. You know what marine coating paint to the ship, to the marine. Actually, I was what we call technical, sales, and I was selling marine paint, and after that, I was selling cleaning chemicals, to ship. I have to go on board the ship to even demo the cleaning product. They call it degreaser. Then I also, in fact, before I left for the States for my studies, I was also selling generators, the bulky generators that generate electricity when you don't have power supply. So what I did was, in fact, do you believe that you can sell? Actually, everyone can sell if they want to sell, especially with Amway. Your Amway come up with products here. Now, if you have heard about Amway product can sell by itself. So I went overseas for my studies. I have a bachelor in computer science, I have a master in business administration, and all along I didn't want to work for people. So that's the reason why when I came back, I was a computer consultant with what we call the Anderson, now it's called Accenture. For a short time before I decided to venture into a business with my wife. I met my wife when I was in the university in the States. My wife's a Thai, so we decided to set up a business in Thailand. And then we were in jewelry manufacturing, and then eventually, because of the Thai crisis, very short, we also ventured in franchising, a very familiar franchise in the Philippines. We call it Avon Franchise. Have you heard of that? I'm sure some of you have the experience of selling Avon. So, all are these selling experience that I have. The only difference between Amway and other selling is that most of the selling business that I had been before, I don't really own it. Well, in Amway, it's different, right? Amway, actually, when you sell, you also at the same time sharing the opportunity between your team. At the same time, they call it ongoing income. When you put enough effort, you have a big organization that are using the product. That's how it generates income for Amway as well as for yourself. So to share with you my first experience, actually, I never thought that my first selling experience in Philippines, I have to travel so far away, right? So I would like to start my PowerPoint. Okay. You can see my PowerPoint, right? Okay. This is my downline, the very first downline in Kawayan City, right? Alan should know where Isabella is, right? So we've been there before so many times. Huh? So what happened was, how do I sponsor? His name is Michael Harris. He doesn't look like a farmer, right? Actually, he's a big boss. He owns hotel, even a lot of land, Kawayan City, Isabella, and also a lot of farmland. So what happened was, I have a downline in Manila, sponsor a downline in Kawayan City, Isabella. And she actually is the secretary to the mayor of Isabella, Kawayan City. And what happened when I went there to do follow-up during the time, I stayed at his hotel. If you've been to Isabella, you heard of MET Hotel in Isabella, right? One of the oldest and biggest hotels. So that's how I share because when I talked to him, he said he also owns farmland. So I shared within our nutri plant. And during that time was Power of 5, not the 7 wonders. We have what we call APSA, AG, So this is the power of 5. So I managed to work with Bong, our agriculture teacher, actually to have his farm as a trial farm. So his farm was using all the products. So this is the reason why you can see the palai, fully grown palai, ready to harvest. Right? This is before, during the earlier stage of the planting. These are, it's interesting that a lot of knowledge, when you go out there, you learn a lot, And this is actually eggs from the snail, these are pets, The problem with, when you are farming or you're palai, so what happens? A lot of pests. And not only that, you also have problems with, insects and all. And the worst part is what the farmer shared with me is the rats, the rats will eat, the palai. And actually, they can control the rats. An interesting story when he told me was when actually in the field, right, there are snakes to control the rats. The problem is the Filipino eat the snake. So when they eat the snake, there are less snakes. So there are more rats. So they couldn't control, the rats, right? So this is the view. He has 3 farms. Basically, one of these farms is about 15 hectares. So another 2 farms, they grow vegetables, This is the leaf of the bitter gourd. You see the leaf where they use our Nutri-Plant is very big and green. This shows that it is very healthy. And you look at the bitter gourd, plenty of bitter gourd over there. I don't know what you call that in Tagalog. Anyway, these are the bitter gourd. Right? And this is only the growing stage, It's the growing stage. It's just beginning, And the eggplant, you can see the eggplant, they are very healthy. They look nice and delicious, right? And cross-selling. When you do something in Amway, you always do cross-selling. It's not only sharing agri-products, we also demo our lecithin E, our biotic with my partner, my DD in Singapore, right? And do you notice anything, right? Of course, now you notice that I'm quite poor, right? You look at Michael also poor, right? But all his workers are also poor for some reason, So he did the demo, and in fact, he's very positive about our product. And he is actually taking our acerola C and the lecithin E. This is his workshop because he also owns a factory to manufacture farming equipment. The farming equipment for the farming. And then the thing is, when we went to his factory, he was so excited about lecithin E because he did the demo to him. And he also gets involved. Right? He also gets involved. Right? He was so excited that, he shared his experience. So because we wanted to share his experience with his workers. Right? And of course, when I was there, it was amusing because in Singapore, we don't have a chance to, really taking a bath for the papo, So the thing is, I was told that the pig, they don't have sweat glands, So they have to take a bath almost every day. This is his downline. Also, he owns a lot of maize, the corn plantation. So this is something that, because Isabela actually is one of the richest provinces, if I'm not wrong, in Philippines. If Isabela or North Luzon doesn't have the natural disaster, I think, the province, the farmers would be, making a lot of money, right? And because of the natural disaster, which beyond their control, right? So this is, his farm over there, right? I want to tell you a story about this long bean, right? What happened is, it's very common, right? When you go to the market, in Tagalog, what they call long beans, I don't know. Anyway, he saw these long beans, right? What happened was, long bean also have harvesting season, right? When he harvest, he saw the long bean, the person who sell long bean will come to his farm to buy. And what's so surprising is, after the harvesting, he told me that he keeps spraying AFSA and AG. And the long beans keep coming up. even after the season. Whereas other farmers who don't use our beauty plant doesn't have the long beans anymore. But his farm, the long beans keep coming up because he sprayed the upside. That means while others doesn't have the long beans to sell, he has the long beans to sell. So he gets a much better price, extra income. So this is what exactly Amway product can do for you, right? Especially the beauty plant. And this is, the sacks over there. So what they normally do is, if I'm not wrong, normally the standard size of one sack is 50 kg. But when the harvest is good, he can get up to 57, even 60 kg. So the yield actually increased by 20%. Means his income also increased by 20%. That's the beautiful part of our energy plant, right? So our product actually not only is safe, effective, economical, and also can sell by itself, right? Okay, sharing the product, right? That's the first thing you do, right? You want to do effective selling or effective sharing, right? Of course, you need to be the product of the product. In fact, on this beauty plant, I had some experience because, I was staying in Thailand for many years, and I was at the province. My in-law side, they own a lot of farms as well. So if you ask me where is Chantapuri is, that's the place where they supply or they plant a lot of durian, rambutan, fruit, So that's where they use also a lot of ASA, AT, AG, right? So why you need to be the product of the product? When you use the product, you know how good is the product, how effective it is. Just like teacher Ellen. You see, when she shared, she was so confident that artistry skincare product works for her because she has been using it for so many years. I tell you, not really a story, a real case about myself. When Amway started in Singapore in 2002, we started with 8 products, right? Artistry products, I'm sure those people who were already in the business for some time, you heard of the pure white system last time. The pure white system, the cleanser is in powder form, right? And actually it's made in Japan. It's a very good product. I love the cleanser until now. Right? We have LOC, we have this drop, we have what we call polishing scrub, we have hydrating mask, we have FA8 only the 1 kg, and we don't have the 3 kg. Right? And we neutralize product, there are only 2 neutralize products. One is vitamin C, they call it Bio C, and then also the B complex. So 8 products. So can you imagine when we start with 8 products, we still can sell. We can still build the market. And in fact, during that time, the first year when I was in Singapore, the most products I sold was artistry products. In fact, the pure white system. One of the reasons is because I use the pure white system. So it's very easy for me, to share. The only thing is, if you use it, you will face challenges. I remember the pure white system, the cleanser is in powder form, right? So you have to topple the bottle, then you pour out the powder, and you use water, then it's foamy, right? So big challenge is when you put in the toilet, right? Normally cleanser you will put in the toilet, you will not put outside the toilet because the moisture, the damp, the humidity, the powder get all gel up. So after a while, it's jammed inside because it's gel up. You couldn't pour out the powder. So that's a challenge. So initially, we face this challenge, slowly we learn. It means if you want to use the cleanser, you take it up from the bottle or put it in the cleanser. So it's very important, if you want to share the product, you must use the product. And that's the reason why be the product of the product. Right? Second thing, of course, when you get excited with the product, it's easy for you to share, right? Whoever you meet, relative, colleague, friends, strangers. Then you have the confidence. I remember when I started the business in Singapore, I shared the nutrition with my family. And in fact, all my families are using our product. And the first product I introduced my sister was garlic. Right? I always share this because my family has a history of what we call phlegms in the throat. Garlic is what we call a natural antibiotic. So it doesn't have. Ever since I started Amway more than 20 years already, I don't see the doctor. I don't take antibiotics because Neutralite product is a natural antibiotic. If you know how to take care of your health, you don't have to see that unless you have a virus, something. Right? So very important of sharing the product, be the product of the product, share relatives, colleagues, friends, and strangers. Right? So effective selling means what? Effective selling, when you share the product, right, means there is a repeat order. Because when they use it, it's good, they will come back. If you just sell the product and there's no repeat order, that means you have to analyze yourself that maybe my selling or sharing is not so different. Because Amway product is designed as such that when you use it, you will keep on using it. So you will have a lot of repeat orders. That's how you sustain your Amway business. Right? So before you really share the product, maybe they share with you some of the communications styles that, while you are sharing. Right? The first one, you talk about visual. Right? Visual means what? Auditory and kinesthetic. Visual means basically a person who likes to acquire knowledge by reading and seeing, right? And mentally picture situations. And sometimes they have difficulty remembering it. For me, it's something like, I can recognize your face for life, but sometimes I cannot remember it. Yeah. Auditory is a group where they prefer to be told how to do things. They like to listen. Ears like to listen, right? Slow readers and visual trainers retain information through hearing and speaking. Kinesthetic is very simple. Person who has a lot of action, hands-on approach, like to do demonstration, like to see demonstration, right? To give you an example right now, no insult to those people who close their video. It's visual, right? Now you're looking at me, right? Because you like to see. Then you belong to the visual group. Auditory may be a person who don't like to see, they switch off the video, they just want to see. Right? Kinesthetic is the person who always a lot of reaction, clap, thumbs up, heart shape, you like hands-on because you like movement. So just remember there are different combinations. You could be a combination of 2 or 3 or only one. This is basically to explain to you that how your customer perceives you when you're presenting or sharing with them. Right? I always remember that Amway treats us as all as customers. There's no difference. We still buy products from Amway. Right? So, tools for sharing. How do you use them? Right? For me, home tech, you need to show the actual unit because people like to see. Right? You can't simply tell them showing the brochure or whatever. That doesn't have the impact. And if you have a cutoff filter, then it's more convincing, right? Info from booklet or catalog. Auditory means testimony. People like to listen to stories, right? People like to attend workshops to listen, right? Because they are auditory. Kinesthetic, demonstration, right? People who like to touch and feel, right? So they like to dismantle, the spring, whatever that they can get. So these are the tools that you use of sharing, depending on how you perceive the customer as visual, auditory, or kinesthetic. What influence a customer? There's a pop quiz. So for participation, can you key in your checkbook? What influence a customer to buy? What he sees, what he hears, or what he feels, or the over none of them. this will influence a customer to buy. I always remember that, He likes what he sees. He likes what he hears. He likes what he feels. So definitely, he will buy our product. Right? Customer representationally present. So you may have a situation where people see is visual, people hear is audio, feel is kinesthetic. What do visual customers prefer? Right? Pictures, coding, video, demo. Right? So actually video right now, because we are all on social media, you are sending out pictures, you are sending out, video. And if they are visual customers, then it will be very effective. Chances that, do demo, of course now we do online demo, but if we can do the actual demo, that would be more effective. Show video, show brochures, draw, and write. These are what we call visual customer preference. Right? How about audio customer? Refer to description, explanation, audio, and music. Right? Audio recording, describe and explain, story, testimonies is very important for people who are audio. So they like to listen, they elaborate more, they like to listen. So the more stories you tell, the more convinced it will be. Kinesthetic customers prefer to human contact, ambient feeling, right? So do demo, touch the e-spring. I think we have a very impactful demo while the VIP group is doing it. They let them try the water, and this is kinesthetic, so that they can taste it. Right? Watch out for customer mood and feeling, because kinesthetic customers are very emotional. Right? They make decisions by a lot of gesture. Sometimes a regular human customer. Right? So the common situation you may ask, I don't know which category my customer falls under. Right? So basically what you do is observe the customer behavior, choice of words, gesture, to determine whether they like to see, they like to hear, or they like to see. So if you feel that they don't like to listen to you, maybe you talk less, do more demo. Right? So this is something that you can, if you are in the business long enough, you should be able to adjust accordingly. These are common situations. If there is more than one customer, there could be a mixture of factors, right? You do your presentation by focusing on matching the right method with the right person. So sometimes you may be presenting to a husband and wife, right? So if the husband, you find that like to listen, and the wife like to see, so what you should do, you should talk more to the husband, but when you draw and write, do it in front of the wife. So it could be a combination. But most important thing I feel that for effective selling is you need to know who is the decision maker. Right? If you know that person is the decision maker, then you should put more emphasis on the person who makes the decision. The husband may be paying the money, but the wife may be making the decision. So which one is more important? Actually, you may think that the husband, but actually it's not. When the wife says no, the husband will say. Right? So when does the sale really take place? When the salesman sells, or when the customer buys? In fact, the sale only takes place when the customer buys. That is a great decision. We always thought that you are a great salesman, you're able to sell. No. You're only a great salesperson, you're able to sell when the customer decides to buy. 3 approaches to increasing sales. Get new customers, get existing customers to buy again, repeat sales, create more opportunity for customers to buy. The most important, of course, is to get existing customers. That's what our MBA is about. Repeat on. In fact, research has shown that you will cost you, say for example, $1, right, to get existing customers to buy again, and you will probably have to spend $5 to get new customers. That means your effort is 5 times if you get new customers. Of course, both are important. But getting your customer to buy again is even more important. Secret or effective selling actually is no secret. You practice more, you do more presentation, meet more people. When you meet more people, what happens? You meet more rejection. Right? A leader used to share with me that, when you have a lot of rejection, then you should be like a goldfish. You forget it in 5 seconds. You don't worry about why they reject you. And then you go to the next one. So the more people you share, the more chances that you will close the deal. Right? So this is basically the selling concept of important thing. The first thing you do is identify the need, key message for the customer. Right? So if assuming that you are selling body key protein, then if you know that a person wants to reduce weight, then you know that. So these are the products because you already identified the need. Then the nutrition, the body key, and the protein, right? And these are the main products. Of course, if they want to take care of the health in general, then double X. Then share a personal connection. Connect to the customer. I'll give you an example, like for instance, if a person wants to reduce weight, right? Then if you are still fat, are you able to share and compete with the person? Right? It's very difficult, right? So what basically you do is you connect the customer to you, right? So of course you yourself have to be healthy in order to share it. So it has a personal connection to you. Then he or she can be convinced. So explain the benefits, right? Connect the product advantages to the customer. So you can't just share how good the product is. You need to know that why you need the protein, low calorie, it's a cell food, it gives you energy, no cholesterol, right? Low cholesterol, no fat. Then these are the benefits that when a person uses the product, then they have. Create a product experience. Seeing is believing. So when even you share body key and protein, most of the time what you do, you need to have a shaker, right? Shake the product. Then what do? Mix it in front of the person. Then of course, you offer them a cup and you yourself also, can try them. So you create a product experience that they have an impact, even though they may not buy from you now. Maybe in the future, they think of that product experience that you offer them something to try. Address the price value. Communicate it, don't hide. I always advise, my group that don't worry about the price. You worry about the high price of an e-spring, then what you can do is don't hide it. You can break down it per unit cost, per liter, right? And then you communicate the installment basis, monthly basis is affordable. And of course, you summon. Most important thing is after you do step 1 to step 5, then you look for buying signal. And this is the most vital part of how you're going to close the deal, right? So you need to know how to do the closing. I always advise that if you are inexperienced, work with the upline. The upline will have more experience. Right? For example, if your upline know how to do closing, they can use a few ways to do closing. Right? They have what we call alternative closing. Like for example, C and E. Do you like to take a C or you want to take a E? Right? A or B. Right? Or E-spring, do you want me to install today or tomorrow? Right? Or even now. Right? So this is alternative closing. Right? Another one is emotional closing. Emotional closing means you know their feelings. They care about their kids. So what you do? You talk about their kids. Hey, you should buy this e-spring because your kids need the clean water. or the baby needs a clean water. You don't have to sterilize the water because already all the germs and bacteria were killed by the UV light. Right? There is another clothing that you can use, assumptive clothing. Assumptive clothing, you assume that they're going to buy. So very confidently, you tell them that, okay, maybe you should install over there. I'll bring it tomorrow. You assume that they will buy. But what if they say, no, I'm not ready? Then it's still okay. Then the last resort, we call it delay closing. Delay closing means always leave something behind, right? That it's okay. I respect your decision. You may take time to make decision to buy. Maybe next week or next month, I will just buy and visit. Right? For the Filipinos, you heard of the album Silk Sonic, right? You know, one of the very popular Bruno Mars, right? They have a song very popular now. You have to leave the door open, right? Always leave the door open. Don't close it, even you cannot close it, right? Because I have distributor, customer, even 5 years later, they come back and say, now I need a history. Before that, I don't need the history. Now, because of health reasons, fatty liver, so you have to leave the door open for them to come back. Never close. Never get angry and show face in front of them. So if you show face and show that you are not happy, the door is shut. So they will never get that. Right? So this is my sharing tonight. So I hope you have learned something. Always remember, always follow your team and your upline. Because they are the ones who are more experienced and they are the ones who can understand you more about your character, your strong point. All right? Thank you. I will pass back to the MC, Danny.
Okay, so